Hi, this video is about user interface design. Have you ever tried to play a game that's really frustrating to play? Or have you ever had trouble finding information on a website? Well, I've got good news for you. This isn't necessarily your fault. It's the designer or creator who has misunderstood how a user might interact with the interface. Let's start with what's an interface? The interface is a point where a user interacts with your program, whether it be an app, a game, a vending machine screen, or a remote control, or even a website. User interface design, also referred to as usability design, sometimes user experience design, and human-computer interaction. This area focuses on anticipating how users might interact with the product or program. User interface design involves considering how one might go about designing the interface so that they are easy to access, understand, and use. Often user interface design is mistaken to involve how pretty or attractive something looks, when in fact it is largely about the functionality and involves logical processes. The following are some great questions posed by Desi on a game development blog. It looks at, does this interface tell me what I need to know right now? Is it easy to find information? Can I use this interface without having to read instructions elsewhere? Are the things I can do on this screen obvious? Do I need to wait for the interface to load? Are there any tedious or repetitive tasks? There's also an increasing interest to ensure designs meet the needs of people with disabilities. For example, considering how usable is your design for people who cannot see or hear. We also need to consider designs for different age groups. For example, how Scratch by MIT is designed for middle year students is quite different to the way it's designed for the early years. There are many different considerations we need to make, and these will depend on your audience. These are some of the user interface elements. We've got considerations about the input controls such as buttons and checkboxes. We've also got to consider the navigational components like the use of notifications and the flow through a program. We have to consider information components such as icons, help features, instructions, and prompts. But we also need to consider the use of color and font as well. Is your text readable? There are many online websites where designers explain these techniques, which students could research about. Alternatively, you might invite the arts teacher or a local designer to come and explain some of the ideas. In some larger businesses and software development teams, there will be a person who holds expertise in usability design to ensure that the product meets user needs. Sometimes these people will also conduct research studies with users and test products. However, it's really important, and it's the responsibility of all designers and developers to keep in mind the user and their experience while designing the program or product. When developing solutions, you might have a lesson where students are asked to critique one another's designs from a user design perspective. Or you might have students research user effectiveness whilst other students actually use their programs. Students can use this data to redesign and improve their product or program. However, it's not always about critiquing bad user interface designs. It's important to celebrate designs that work well. Can you see examples of good user interface design or poor examples? Can you find a game or a website that's challenging for a particular reason? We found a website called Bad Designs where Michael Darnell is keeping track of some very poor designs. This one here is for a workplace coffee machine. Michael has noticed that the instructions on the front of this machine are missing a crucial step, instructions that say when to put the mug down. Michael has taken this design and proposed a new design. Let's recap on the elements of good user interface design. We need information that is easy to find. Your user interface should be easy to use and navigate. Find and establish patterns when you can. Use actions and features that are similar to most people's ideas and opinions. For example, don't make a go action button a red square if most people are familiar with green as representing go and red to stop. Ensure your user knows what to do next or where they are in the program. Minimize load times and avoid overcomplicating things or having things look too busy. Eliminate or simplify repetitive tasks. Is there a better way of doing something? And this is where the idea of loops and repetition and finding patterns in programs is really crucial. We'll be exploring in detail some of the examples of user interface design that are relevant to these streams.